The hospital had that typical bleached smell, all clean and clinical, but it felt kinda cold and sad. I'm Emma, 27 years old. I've been in the hospital for 6 tough days, holding my newborn son close, trying to stay hopeful that everything will be okay. My partner, Luke, was my rock. Always had been. We'd been inseparable for 3 years. No betrayals, no secrets, just the two of us. Building a life we believed was safe, sacred. But nothing could have prepared me for what came next. Nothing. After a complicated emergency C-section, I was dealing with nerve damage in my arm that left it paralyzed. 10 days after giving birth, we noticed something was wrong with our baby. Our baby's eyes. My baby was all puffy and swollen, with tiny tears welling up in the corners of his eyes, like he was already so sad. I freaked out, to be honest. I was already struggling with postpartum depression, and this just felt like too much to handle. It was overwhelming. This wasn't supposed to happen. It was a Sunday evening late. The out-of-hours doctor's office was our only option. We put our baby in his car seat and drove to the hospital, feeling scared and anxious as the cold winter air surrounded us. The appointment that shattered me. The doctor was a middle-aged man with a serious expression. He barely looked up at us and didn't ask many questions. Just one question. How old is he? 10 days, I answered, nerves tightening around my throat. He leaned back in his chair and said, almost lazily, "Yeah, I already know what it is." Without even looking at him. He said a long, complicated medical term that sounded scary and made the room feel cold. "Look it up when you're alone," he added casually. Alone? Was he trying to prepare me for something? A shiver ran down my spine. I didn't wait. I pulled out my phone right there in the office. And what I read made my heart stop. The word he said was possibly chlamydia-related conjunctivitis. I Googled it. And it said, chlamydia is a common, curable sexually transmitted infection STI, caused by the bacterium Chlamydia trachomatis. It's often asymptomatic, meaning many people don't realize they have it. Chlamydia can be treated with antibiotics. Here's a more detailed look at chlamydia, how it spread. Chlamydia is primarily transmitted through unprotected sexual contact, including vaginal, anal, and oral sex. It can also be spread through sharing sex toys that aren't washed or covered with a new condom. Contact with infected semen or vaginal fluid, including in the eye, can also transmit chlamydia. I found that answer on Google, chlamydia. In a newborn? The ground opened up beneath me. I stared at the doctor, words jamming in my throat. It felt like he had slapped me across the face. "I don't have that," I stammered. "I was tested before I met my partner, and we've only ever been with each other." He narrowed his eyes, almost pitying. "Are you sure?" The weight of his insinuation, that I had cheated, lied, endangered my child, crushed me. I started crying uncontrollably, feeling overwhelmed and breathless. Tears filled my eyes and everything became blurry. And Luke? My poor Luke. He sat frozen, caught between wanting to defend me and fearing that any confrontation could endanger our son's care. The doctor shot him a glance full of condescending sympathy, as if he were the real victim here. "I didn't have a vaginal birth," I managed to say through my sobs. "I had a C-section. How could this even happen?" The doctor waved a hand dismissively, as if facts, actual medical facts, were beneath him. No explanation. No tests. Just a damning accusation made in seconds. We left the doctor's office feeling shocked and hurt and numb. I held my baby tightly, feeling like I'd let him down. Then, GP refer us to a sexual health clinic. Both Luke and I tested. Both of us were clean. No trace of anything. When we finally saw our son's actual pediatrician, a kind, warm man who actually listened, he laughed softly when I told him what had happened. "Impossible," he said. "You had a C-section. Your son has simple bacterial conjunctivitis. It happens all the time in hospitals. It's treatable. It's not your fault. I felt both relieved and angry at the same time. The truth was clear. The damage, however, had already been done. I considered reporting the doctor. I wanted to scream at him, drag him into a room and force him to understand what he had done. But Luke, always the peacemaker, worried it would cause more harm than good. "Let it go," he said. "Focus on our son." Luke said the doctor didn't mess up the treatment itself, he just wasn't very good with people. He jumped to possible conclusions and didn't listen properly. But it's hard to make a complaint stick, because he didn't actually do anything physically wrong to you or our son. He was just lazy and sloppy, but technically, he didn't break any rules or do anything wrong, so it's hard to do anything about it. The more I thought about it, the more I realized. It wasn't just about me. What if my partner hadn't been kind and understanding? What if he had believed the doctor? What if he had hurt me? Or worse? My mom said I should totally file a formal complaint. Just because the doctor didn't mess up the actual treatment doesn't mean he didn't do anything wrong. Poor communication and being unprofessional are huge issues, and medical boards want to know about it. It might not lead to him getting in serious trouble, but it could mean he has to have a chat with someone about his behavior, or get some extra training on how to talk to patients. He didn't communicate properly, caused unnecessary stress, and didn't investigate before dropping some possible serious news on me. Should I start by complaining to the hospital or surgery? And if that doesn't go anywhere, then take it to the General Medical Council.
Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Share it, because some stories are meant to be discovered together. And stay curious. I'll see you in the next chapter.